Thanks for tuning in. I'm Alisha here at Rubber City Harley-Davidson. We're in the service department. Spring is around the corner, and I know a lot of people are getting their bikes out either this weekend or next. And just want to go over with you what we do here at a service. It's more than just a fluid swap, and we're just going to walk around the bike. And I'm going to point out a few things, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to start at the rear section of the motorcycle. The majority of the time, we just tighten down the exhaust and your shock bolts as well. We also make sure that your belt was within spec. The belt adjustment, you don't want it too loose and you don't want it too tight. Also, your exhaust is one of the components on your motorcycle that vibrates because it's hooked to the motor, which that vibrates. It's all mounted, rubber mounted, but we also like to make sure that everything is tight and where it should be. When we get closer, we have the primary open. Here again, this is where the primary fluid goes into. The motor makes the power. The primary is the one that talks to the transmission, and the transmission is what happens at the final drive to make your motorcycle go down the road. So we always try to make sure that the fluid's good and that the fluid is at the proper level once we change it. Here we are at the shifter. We make sure that the things that you use 3 or 4 times before you either hit the end of your driveway, you'll put it in gear, you'll put it in neutral. We make sure that these nuts are tight and that everything is where it should be. Sometimes if things aren't tight and they get in overtime, they will round out this shifter shaft. We also lube this because it moves. This is how you shift, and that's what you do when you're shifting. Go to the front of the motorcycle. Actually, we make sure that your spark plugs, they recommend that you replace these every 2 years. These are the Screaming Eagle ones this bike has. They're a little dirty, not too bad. You could replace them. You could take it to a wire brush and clean it up and make sure that the gap is where it should be. Those are some things that we look for. Go to the brakes. Make sure your brake calipers are tight. Make sure your front axle is tight. Looking at this tire, it's not in the best of condition. Looks like it's cupped. Looks like it's about 2/32. Got a pretty awesome gauge here. Check and see where it's at. It's about 2/32. We recommend replacing it if it's under 3/32, but that's just stuff that we look for when we're doing services here at Rubber City. You're going to swing on to the front, make sure that everything's tightened down from your lights, make sure nothing's done anything that it shouldn't be doing. They also recommend that you change the brake fluid at every 2 years. Much like anything, when the bike gets cold or when it gets hot, or if you ever wash it or if you're ever in the rain, some of that water gets into places where it shouldn't. And then your brake reservoir is one of them. So we have these brake testers to test if your brake fluid's bad. Looks like this brake fluid's bad. We're going to be replacing that here before we put this bike on the sales floor. That's for sure. And right now we're at the air cleaner. This is something that sometimes gets overlooked. Air cleaner looks pretty dirty right here. So that's something that we would take off. Make sure that gets cleaned up so it's not dripping on your motorcycle. We have K&N air filter cleaners that we use for this. It usually gets the oil and the debris out pretty good. Then we also make sure that the oil is being routed in the right direction. We'll clean that out just so when you're riding, that oil's not dripping down on your cam cover there. Here, this is a 2015 twin cam motorcycle that we're working on today. Usually then the next thing we go is we go right underneath the seat here to verify that your battery terminals are tight. Very important over time. If there's water condensation, a little bit of corrosion can grow on your cables, which might cause a little interference with your battery to your motorcycle. So that's just another thing, another item we look at when we're doing a full service on your bike. I'm going to swing around the other side here. Just to take a look, it's a little dirty in here, so what we do is we come in here and clean it up, make sure that the contacts are really clean. Put some dielectric grease on there so there won't be any room for corrosion to grow. Of course, we check the tire pressure. That's very important to a riding season, maintaining a tire pressure. Usually 40 in the rear, 36 or 38 in the front, whatever your preference is. But yeah, those are just quite a few things that we do here at River City in the service department, or at OMG in general, on top of changing your engine oil and your transmission fluid. That's it. Hope you have a great day. Enjoy your riding season. Come down and see us. All 5 dealerships.